I'm just starting a new movement group in San Francisco. So Eric was the only one that showed up yesterday, which means he got a 2-hour private lesson with me for $20. So we started with standing stillness and just bringing the awareness into what they call in contact, the tiny dance of the dance of reflexes, of rebalancing back and forth. And in contact, they use that as a foundation for a lot of the awareness for things. And I find that a nice base to begin our investigation of balance and inversions for the day. And I introduced this idea of the swing. And so the idea is that you would find this graceful, easeful swing. Just like when you're on a swing set, you don't have to do anything. Gravity just does the motion for you. It does it smoothly and gracefully, bringing you between these two, the apex on each of these sides. So we first started with bringing the balance back and forth between the two legs and finding that into a walk. And we started bringing that into different directions. So stepping in different directions, finding the swing between the feet in these different ways. And we went to all fours on the floor. We started shifting the weight between all four limbs on the floor. And then we started lifting one limb and we're lifting two limbs. And so that's what you see here. We're working on bringing the weight into two limbs at a time and find that in different positions. So we're starting to feel out the balance and how that can change dynamically. So we see Eric working that here, finding that in different positions. And here I'm doing that as well. And as we're doing this, we're building this understanding of where our center of mass is in space and how we shift weight between our limbs. How can we do that and do it stably, gracefully in all these different positions? And now we start to find that in the swing, that same swing that we had on our legs. The instruction was to really imprint that into your memory because we're very good at that on our legs and on our feet. And obviously we're less intuitive about it when we bring the hands and the arms into the picture. So now with that memory imprinted, with that experience imprinted, the instruction is now to find that swing on all fours. So it could be from both hands to both feet. It could be to one hand and one foot. It can be any of these combinations. We're exploring this idea of the swing dynamically. How easefully and gracefully can we do it? Can we do it in a way where we create this illusion and sensation that we can have this swing without any muscular effort? From there, we took that onto the swing from both feet to both hands. So now this is essentially forcing us to go into some level of handstand or inversion. And so we can go directly from the feet into the hands and back to where we came from, or we can also start to swing from where we came from up to the hands to the other side and find the swing there. And we're starting to build this awareness of how we're moving and how we're inverting on our hands, getting comfortable on our hands, getting comfortable upside down, getting comfortable transitioning into inversions. And now here we find that swing into one arm, inversions onto one arm, weight shifts onto one arm, all these different ways. So there's no limitations on how we can do it. And that gives Eric a lot of autonomy here so that he can learn faster. He can do better. He has full autonomy to explore that. And now we start to bring it a little more isolated. So we bring in a specific pattern. I call this one the 1, 2, 3, 4 forwards cartwheel. So we take a move we've been working on, the 1, 2, 3, 4 cartwheel, and we're transitioning it forward. So we're using it to travel forwards in space. And that 1, 2, 3 cartwheel and those progressions from the 1, 2, 3 to the 1, 2, 3, 4 to forwards and backwards, these I find are really wonderful. I think it's the easiest progressions that I've found so far to start getting people into these inversions, and that we can get people comfortable in some of these inversions on the first day they're doing them is a huge testament for how well they work. And now we're taking this 1, 2, 3, 4 cartwheel backwards through space. The whole sleeve, the movement sleeve of this cartwheel is starting to improve a lot for Eric here. So that's really wonderful. I introduced this idea of Luria's kinesthetic melodies. So there's a certain melody or song to a movement. And so for this 1, 2, 3, 4 cartwheel, there's a rhythm to it that we can find between the reps of the 1, 2, 3, 4 of the hand, foot, foot, hand, foot, foot. Finding that and bringing attention to it and looking for it and using it can be really helpful, and certainly was really helpful here. And we introduced a new move, the 1, 2, 3, 4 spin. And Eric had done something somewhat similar before, so he's actually picking it up really quickly. We had a little bit of fun with the camera work for this spin here. Now, this is something Ito introduced in Movement Camp at 2019. This bar mitzvah organic pushing workout. I really love it. I've been using it for many years. And the idea is basically that we can take a push-up and we can modify it. We can change where the legs are positioned, where the arms are positioned, the loading of it, we can get in the way, and so we can make the push-up more challenging in all these different ways and condition a wider movement sleeve rather than just one exact movement. It's tough. Yeah, you really challenge your partner. Eric got quite his revenge on me here. This was really great. So now I'd been thinking of and trying to figure out a bent arm pulling equivalent for years now. Last night we figured it out together, and Eric actually was very helpful with this idea of using the wall. So the idea is you have a partner. We're going to work pulling one arm at a time. So your partner is going to choose where to place your arm, and from that position they're going to pull that hand all the way until the hand touches the shoulder or the chest, and they're going to pull in a straight line. So they're not going to try to deviate and go to where they're strong. They're going to pull exactly through that vector as much as possible. And again, by doing this and with a creative partner, we can really challenge again a much wider variety of pulling movements, all without really much of any equipment. So the only thing we needed, and this was a critical discovery, was if you use a wall, one arm is doing the pulling, the other arm is producing a countering, stabilizing force such that we're not limited by the balance on some of these vectors.